All right, welcome back to the 80 Star Basketball channel. So this is going to be my biggest video to date. I'm going to be responding to Beckett's podcast right here, which was a response to Darren Rovells' Collect article, Move Over 86 Fleer, another Michael Jordan rookie is now most valuable. Beckett he responds because he does not like this and hurt by a Beckett classification, maligned by a counterfeiting scandal and hurt by a Beckett classification. The 84 star is back on top. So he doesn't like that over here. He talks about it. He talks about why he did the classification. And that's going to be what I tackle and take on. This is going to be my longest video, but if you stay with it, I'm going to respond to everything and show why it's factually incorrect and it's kind of taken out of context, taken far out of context. And it was fundamentally more important than the star scandals. I have a huge reason I bet he really hasn't thought of, but really is the basis that why the classification doesn't work and why so many people disagree with it. So Beckett, I hope you're going to watch. This is going to be long, but I think there's going to be some new stuff in here that people are going to be really interested in. And to note that I do think that he is ethical. I think Beckett is, he's a very unique position in the hobby and where he was as the only megaphone at the time. And he's aware that, that he was in this position. And I talked to Steve Taft for about an hour and a half on this at the Burbank show. Steve was very gracious with his time. And Steve obviously disagrees with Beckett here on the classification. But it's one thing to know that he really does say that Beckett was coming from an ethical position, and it is really easy for me with hindsight and no one in my ear to talk about this. And in Beckett notes that later, he's basically saying, got to remember the time, and he had so many people in his ear, but whether he admits it or not, that's going to all influence him. The dealers, the industry, the mom and pops, the small and large businesses, all of them, he's trying to take in account for, and he's going to go with what has the most energy and what the most people are saying. So, and most people are saying at the time 86 Fleer because they have money behind it, and those are the things that people are seeing in the hobby. So he definitely is, he had this very unique position, and I definitely respect him for all he's done. Also, by the way, like, comment, and subscribe. I forgot to say that. So, and just who am I? And for debating purposes, Beckett established a little bit of credibility here. So, I've been a software engineer for 25 years. I do data classifications across all different types of data. So, this is kind of my field. And if something doesn't work data wise, it causes problems, or there's debates, or there's things it doesn't fit into, and that's what I recognized here. And to kind of contradict what you said in terms of who's getting into it or disagree with you, you said it was just people waiting for Star to PSA it, and they've had these collections. I actually did the exact opposite. I had an 86 Fleer. And then afterwards, seeing PSA grade them and doing my own research, and I went, these are simply the rookie cards. So it was rather expensive for me to, come to that conclusion because I'm not out for money. I actually just wanted a Jordan rookie card, and I can't be comfortable with an 86 Fleer. It's because it simply is not a rookie card. And, the first clue is turning it around and looking at the back and seeing 2 years of stats. But I'll get into the biggest reason why. And there's several reasons why that classification is incorrect. So I also did want to look, and this is me right here, and this is a channel. I'm currently the only channel for Star, obviously not in it for the money. I'm doing this because I really got into it in the hobby. I've been in the hobby since 88. So it's just it's been a fun place. So kind of combining data classifying and the hobby is what I'm doing. So I'm also going to give some clips right now of also people who agree that are big names right now. This is all kind of changing, and the train is going, and more people are coming out and saying this. And I know you're surprised. You were surprised by Darren Rovells calling out the Beckett classification. Well, these are all people saying the same thing. That classification is extremely important, and it always has been. So I'm going to leave some of the big ones for the end, but here's a couple right came out with this and knew that this was going to be controversial, but still did it because he came to this conclusion.
We're going to dive into really kind of the details of this thing, and I'm going to tell you why the debate really is over on this thing. It is the 84 star Jordan 101, and it always has been. Stick around.
Here is the biggest voice in the hobby. If you want to listen to PSA, there's no one you're going to listen to. Just as Beckett was the biggest back in the day, the biggest megaphone now is arguably PSA. And here, there was Nat Turner by Nat Turner had a different. There was a different video where he says this, and I don't have it, but this is basically the same thing as someone quoting him.
That we know is that people love the first card from the first base set, and so that's part of it. And to go along with what you were saying also about the XRC, I pulled this up. I interviewed Nat Turner coming up on about a year and a half ago now, and I asked him a question actually about the Fleer rookie, and this is what he said. Part of his answer. Here's what he said. He said, "But to be blunt, it's not actually Michael Jordan's rookie card." Speaking of the '86 Fleer. He'd been playing in the league for 2 years before that. So his rookie card is, in fact, the star card from 1984-85, which is a beautiful card.
And here is Jeremy Lee from Sports Card Live interviewing the leading consolidator, perhaps in the hobby, Mark Sadoff.
1989, but the Jordan, it's obviously an important card, and I know it's an important discussion, but where do you fall? What's the rookie card?
Yeah, so I like the 1984. I believe that the 1984 star is a rookie just because it's licensed and it came out 2 years before that. But I don't think that debate is that it's never.
Jeremy himself on it.
But for me, Mark, we're now 40 years later. The world has changed. I don't really personally care what the standards were for a rookie card in '84. Here we are this many years later. What's important to me is that the card measures the way a card should measure. And it's the earlier card, and that it's licensed. I do think it should be licensed. To me, that's important. But the fact that it didn't come out of a random pack, and the fact that you couldn't just buy it at any corner store in any city in America, I don't care anymore. I don't care about the method of distribution. I don't think is nearly as important because we also didn't have Amazon back in the '80s to bring you anything you wanted at any time. So I know there's a lot of stuff there, but for me, I think we have to change with the times, and the hobby is changing. The internet came around, post '84 and '86. So, to me, if I had to say which one is the rookie card, to me now, it's the 84 star. That's the rookie card in my mind. That makes the most sense to me, but I'm not trying to
Let's get down into what he said in the podcast. I'm just going to simply sum up what he said. So first of all, he essentially is saying his classification didn't hurt the card. He said XRCs are generally more valuable than the RC counterparts. So that's the first thing he kind of says. And then he says, if anything, I was a champion of star cards and they hurt themselves. And he's kind of surprised he's singled out as the bad guy. And, it kind of then goes on to explain, careful what you wish for, you just might get it, kind of like an ends justify the means. If I didn't, create the '86 Fleer as, the RC, then there wouldn't have been as much action. There wouldn't have been as much power. There was so much behind it, especially in the COVID days. And there was all this energy. And so, that's kind of where he's kind of alluding to, which is a contradiction to what he said, where, the classification has a lot of weight. But I'll talk about all that later. He also says he only has 4 options. He actually had more than 4 options. And I can think of a solution. And I propose one at the end of this video that will give him one that will still kind of meet his needs. It might exactly, but it will much better define and classify things while trying to, I don't want to say compromise, but trying to find a different, way around this and to get to what he wants. But it's definitely another option that he had here. So I'm going to play a couple clip right now of just some things. He kind of says a lot in this brief period, but I do want to say this to kind of, part of what sum up what he's saying.
And that came to light. But with the 86, 87 Fleer being designated as RCs, and I originally did an RC asterisk, but the asterisk was dropped at some point, but they were more recognized as the rookie card. That said, I won't say it carried the hobby, but a lot of the headlines in the COVID days were that particular Michael Jordan, because there's enough action on that with much higher production quantities and unopened boxes and cases that surfaced. That doesn't happen, guys. If the Star Company card is an RC, then the 86, 87 Fleer is nothing. They're just a bunch of third or fourth year cards. Be careful what you wish for. Again, I don't think it was hurt by classification.
So that's basically him kind of, and that's the sum up of what he's saying, and I'll respond to everything. All right, drum roll. Here we go. So I'm going to take this on in two sections. The first one's actually much smaller, and then I'm going to get to the second where I'm going to show the main reason that no one ever talks about, but it's actually the biggest reason why this classification does not work. And but first, really quickly, to show you how much this classification mattered. So Beckett kind of focuses on, or Beckett, you focus on, saying that my classification didn't hurt anything, and XRC is generally more valuable than an RC and limited in distribution. So that didn't hurt anything, and you kind of focused more on the scandals being the problem. And just kind of what everyone's saying is no, the fundamentals, the classification is fundamental, and that's what changed people's perception. And that was done before the scandals. So, and it mattered because of simple economics. You created 2 rookie cards. That was the point. And you even say that. And then you kind of contradict when you use COVID to say, well, there was more of them, that being the rookie, it helped propel it. It gave it action. And when you put rookie card on something, you're going to get a chase. And you created 2 places to go. And everyone and their mother knows if you took off the rookie card label off the 86 Fleer, everyone would go after the Star 101. But there simply isn't that many of them, which comes into your the ends justify the means. You want more people to have a Jordan rookie card, and it creates more action. More dealers in your ear are telling you that because they're getting all this action. And if you call it a rookie card, it's going to sell. Everyone made money off of the 86 Fleer being a rookie card. So your label just was reinforcement and kind of created that and solidified it. You were the only megaphone at the time. So that classification was absolutely fundamental, and it absolutely mattered, and it carries on to this day. Did Star hurt itself with its scandals? Of course. But that actually, I think, is not as big, not even close, actually, to the classification, because it would have started out and it would have played out different. Had it been the rookie card, maybe people would have dug more into it, and because it kind of created this us versus them. The 86 Fleer folks started protecting their investments, so they fought off everything. It would have created very different dynamics. But I get it. You kind of letting, people who can afford, more. If the Star 101 is, the money would go there. Kind of like what I just said. There was only one place to shop if the 101 Star is the rookie card. But the classification was extremely important, and that's why. But now I'm going to so let's talk the big thing, the classification. This is the big drum roll. This is what I've been wanting to talk about here. So I'm going to hit this in 2 parts, really. And the first, really, let's start off by saying the classification is fundamentally flawed. It's a catch-all. Realize when Beckett's trying to work with, everyone's talking rookie cards, and rookie card is a horrible label for this. And real quick, this is not the big reason. The big reason is coming, and I will give you a hint. It's called intent. And hopefully, Beckett, I might be able to change how you view this. And I know for sure that people don't talk about this, but this is actually the biggest reason. And it doesn't fit into the context. That's why nothing is working, why there's debates and going, well, is this one? And you can actually kill the entire argument with intent. And I'll get there in a second. But again, back to the classification, or just simply being a horrible label. You're starting out with trying to do a catch-all for everything. You're trying to create this rookie card. A rookie card, by definition, is just simply the first year of a professional. Your first year of service in anything, police, firemen, and in sports, in professional sports. So you're taking a 1-year thing and you're trying to now label a whole bunch of stuff on it. And as you even noted in your podcast, it simply just gets too chaotic because it doesn't match up with, things start to go in, okay, well, what if they do it before? Oh, well, I got to call, a year before in the minors, but they release a licensed card. And so that's the XRC. So that's now a rookie, even though they, the card is released before what you call a regular release. And there's a reason I'm showing this Paulo Banchero right here. And it starts to not match up with anything because if they really, I think the label is kind of, you're saying first license card. Because if it doesn't happen for a couple years, like the 86 Fleer you're trying to point out, if you're saying that the Star was an XRC, and that this is an XRC, the RC is the 86 Fleer, then you're trying to say, well, that's the first license card that was, it distributed the way you wanted it to be in whatever context you were trying to define. So you're trying to start defining all these different pieces of information that need to be contextually bound to make this argument work. And it starts breaking all over the place because you start making these bags and you keep it rookie and you start throwing all these different things in and it doesn't make sense. So with your label of distribution, limited distribution, I would ask you, is this a rookie card? Is this Paulo Banchero a rookie card? Well, Panini certainly thinks it is. They put the rookie card designation right here. And the person who's selling it certainly thinks it is because it's right here. However, this 5 of 5 means it's extremely limited distribution. So are all one of ones? This was only distributed to 5 states at tops, and or 5 people. That's definitely not a rookie card in your rules. And you would say, well, right, it is not a rookie. Well, the industry disagrees, and 99% of the entire hobby would disagree with this. So again, this just starts to show that things don't fit. Do tobacco pack cards fit? Well, they're not in packs. They're not. Is that limited? It can't be distributed to children. Tobacco cans with cards in them. Those can't be distributed to kids? I would say that in your view. So it comes down into contexts of time, and the context you start with this. It comes down to time periods. So you have to go down and does the information fit, and does it everything gets purely contextual. So let's start talking about the big one, which is, okay, and here's where things really start breaking down. So you say for the classification, you say, hey, these basically, I realized that this is a rookie card, but it was limited distribution. So I kind of threw it into this bucket, that we already established for tops traded, that's an XRC, an extended rookie card. So I kind of threw it in that. That's where all of this really starts to break down, is that, well, I would say, comparing a tops traded set to the Star base set was completely out of context. First of all, intent. It was the intent of the Star Company to distribute a base set, not a traded set. They also intended to distribute this base set in packs that weren't collate, that you had to collate into a set. It wasn't sold as a set. There was no box, there was no nothing, as this is. So this is also, it was nationally distributed. If you were in Wisconsin, you could call up Star and you could either be pointed in the right direction, or we have members in some of the groups that have said, I called up Star and I actually got just some packs. And I think the dealers had to, if you're going to be a dealer, you bought 5, it was a minimum of 5 packs. But you essentially could call up from anywhere in the country, your card shop, and you get it. It was within the hobby, which is exactly what they do today. And I will get to the other contextual challenge that you pose. But this simply, the Star Company, for the rule of law, and for the reason why this matters so much, is the rule of law goes by intent. What is your intention? And think of a crowded theater, and do you have freedom of speech and all that? Can you say anything you want? Well, if you're in a crowded theater and you yell fire, um, and everyone's running out and gets stampeded, and someone dies, then that's the crime there. Someone's dead. What happened? Is there a crime? Well, what's the intent of the person who yelled it? If there actually was a fire, then that person's a hero. He saved everyone else from getting out. Someone accidentally got killed on the stampede, but still the intent of the person was to save everyone. If it was someone telling his friend, "Hey, watch, I want to see if we can hurt people and cause chaos, and someone's going to get on the ground," and they yell fire to that isn't correct. The intention was to cause chaos, and they would be criminally liable. So it all comes, the rule of law is established by intention. And had this gone into a courtroom, I'm not saying, you would take it to court on the designation, but in 1985, Starr could have simply defended itself saying, wait a minute, our intent, we are trying to create base sets. How is this any different? Well, so that's where the start of all this contextual stuff just really breaks down and nothing matches, because the intent was to distribute. Topps traded sets, where the intention is to do traded sets. Their intention was to do this. So your classification, you're trying to take the intention now of the star sets and turn it into something that it's not, that it wasn't intended to be. And that is the major flaw. Then you use Topps Traded, which again, I would even say part of that is it's a limited distribution. Limited compared to what? It would be limited compared to the base set. Well, Star already is the base set, so it is the distribution. So then it gets into, well, if you're trying to say that you're trying to compare it to the distribution levels of 1990s baseball or 1990s basketball, it simply wasn't there. By the way, 1985 baseball was out of context with 1985 basketball card demand. There were two different, you didn't have a Beckett either for basketball. That's even to show the contextual difference. So there wasn't a market nearly as big for basketball as baseball in 1985. But yet you're trying to compare those contexts and saying, well, it's got to match baseball. Well, is that context fit 1906 baseball? No. So you don't use the same standards there. Well, you're starting to define whatever this context, it doesn't fit really anywhere. I showed that with Apollo Bonchero. It starts to not fit to the past. Your 1990 definition, you can't do a catch-all. And it does get chaotic with labels because things are simply different. And having the intent, but where this really doesn't fit here is most things were intent to be, the intent was there to make, like, if someone makes Sports Illustrated, there's cards in Sports Illustrated. Well, that's where they were intended to be. They're not intended to be a base set card. Star was intended to be a base set card. So I think knowing this and arguing this, I can here's the solution. My solution, I'm going to try and keep this fairly quick as this video is long. So here is what I think would be the only way to make this work, and also in lieu of what you were kind of looking for too. So if you would basically say no, we can't, I would simply just label the 101 star the rookie RC, and that would be it. However, as a solution in terms of trying to work with you at the time and you saying no, that's not what I want to do. You did have other options, and one would have been labeling, this is what I would propose to make things work in the past, present, future. You don't know what's coming. You have to label things granular because the distinction is there. They are different. So you could have done the 101 star as a rookie asterisk if that's what you needed to kind of denote your limited distribution or whatever you were feeling was, instead of the 86 Fleer rookie with an asterisk. You could have put it on the 101 and then designate the 86 Fleer as an FFC, a first Fleer card. That would have been correct, and it would have, alleviated and done some of the things that you were wanting to accomplish. The 86 Fleer, everyone's considering a rookie. It's got all this energy. I don't want to take it away. Because packs and packs and everyone's buying packs. Well, you definitely could have done this and it still would have possibly kept a lot of that energy or some of it, and people would take that, but also see that you labeled the 101 star correctly. And then going forward, you could label your Paulo Banchero's rookie with a, asterisk kind of thing. It would have given you, as far as a generalization of data, would have given you more flexibility. Again, I would have simply just done rookie, but rookie asterisk would have been an option for you. That also was an option that you didn't list that you could have done. So would have done that. Anyway, would love to, discuss it if possible. And I just think that this warranted. I saw these things as you were talking, and I wanted to respond to this. So I will leave it with this clip of to me the kind of the biggest social media video that I have seen, simply because there's three people, but I did want to show this clip. So yeah, check it out. All right, I can't understate how big this one is. This one to me is bigger than even Nat Turner, which is hard to say, but to me, this was the kind of the king of social media. You may, not like whatever your opinion on Jeff Wilson is. The fact that he had three different people on here, I'm going to play four different clips out of this, but the fact that there's three different people and all three of them say that it is a rookie card or is the true rookie card. It is a classification that I'm looking at. I don't care their opinion, whether they like the look of the card or not. That's not what we're getting at in this video. But this to me was the biggest video I've seen so far, simply because you have three people in agreement, all acknowledging that the pack distribution, it does not matter. It's such a very low level argument that it's not what they're kind of deeming the qualification for the rookie card. But I'm going to start off with Teapot, and I'll jump to the others as I go.
Fleer. This one just happens to be more rare. There happen to be fewer, and there happen to be far fewer in good top tier condition. For me, I would say yes, it's a rookie card. I mean, he was drafted in '84. It's a rookie card. It doesn't bother me too much that it wasn't pack pulled, so to speak, or came out of a team bag.
And then I'll jump over to over right here for Doug.
Putting this question to me, I recognize the 84 star is probably the true rookie. I don't really care that it wasn't pack pulled.
So we will also then jump over to Jeff talking. And remember, during this time, these people, this audience is huge. They have a very sensitive audience. We're all sensitive to our cards, and they got to be, what they say matters, and they know they hit a very large audience. And so what they say, they basically are careful with their words.
Sorry.
This is a debate that will probably continue on for a really long time. I have been convinced, after much discussion with many, many people in the sports card hobby, I have been convinced I do personally recognize the 84 star as a rookie card. I think it's a rookie card. It came out his rookie year, as you said, or thereabouts. And the whole it's not pack pulled thing, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think there's kind of like
And just one more real quick that I love it that Doug added in this.
That this sale shows the significance of the card in the market.
If you let me pick between the two,
Yeah.
I would pick the Star.
Okay.
Just because of its rarity and
Yeah.
and its earlier age.
1,500 total.
And like, comment, subscribe. Again, would love to get in touch with Beckett and talk to him about it. But, appreciate you taking the time. This was a long one for sure.